Hi, everyone, and we are live with Awaken with Beverly Rhodes this evening. And this is my wonderful panel, and Ron will be joining us a bit later because he's on a different show at the moment, but he will come over shortly. In our lineup tonight, we have Demon Hunter Kate, and we also have Salma, who is the light mother who does a lot of integrating of light language and does a lot of activating of light language. So we've got both sides of the coin, the individual that makes us safe and fights demons for us and does all these amazing things. And then we have also Selma, who's with us to teach us how to defend ourselves the best, activate our own light language, because demons can't understand light language. So I'm going to welcome both of our lovely ladies this evening, and also we do have a little bit later, we have got a whole section on alien DNA that was sent in by Asria. So thank you so much to Asria, who's still not well enough to join us on the show tonight, but will be with us definitely next week. But we still do have Christopher Evans, who is Captain America. We've got his alien DNA, and we've got Scarlett Johansson's alien DNA as well, but that will be coming a little bit later. So I'll first ask our lovely ladies how each of them are, and then we'll go into some of the background. So, Kate, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. Excited to be here. Thank you for that.
Oh, very good. And Selma, how are you today too?
Yes, hello, good evening, everyone. I'm fine. I'm just sorry. I know my energy will be a bit low because I'm still a bit sick, but I'm trying to keep it up. But just excuse me if my energy is a bit low, not like energized like every time, but I'm okay. Good. Happy to be with you.
Good. We'll try not to tax you out too much. So we're gonna go to Kate, because I think it'll be good for Kate to explain what it is that you do, Kate, and more importantly, how these things work, because I think some individuals are still sort of not quite sure how this works and how you get to understand where these beings are, how they come about, and how you get to realize that they're there, because some people still believe that they don't exist. Yeah. So in the meantime, I'm going to hand it over to you, Kate, so that you can tell us all about it, please.
Okay. About half of the people that I see end up having demons of one type or another because of a situation of some kind. So I say it's like a situational encounter. The other half, you will always find beings with people that have had severe trauma, childhood abuse of many kinds. There will always be attachments. There just will. I'll say attachments of many kinds, but there will always be some type of demonic force. You would think, well, I would know if they're there, but you don't. The person doesn't know if they're there. What they know is they're struggling. Like, I don't feel like myself. I've done all this self-help. I've been to every healer, and I still can't quite make my life work. You know what I mean? So so I see that a lot. Let me see, where am I going with this, Bev? How do they work? Different attachments. What I tend to find is this: there are different types of attachments, different types of demons. There are some very high level demons who are very difficult to extract, and those take days. I'm not kidding, days. They're reluctant to go. Right now, in the last few months, they're sort of they're almost like in a frenzy. You know what I mean? They're really whipped up. I've actually had Beverly help me twice with 2 extractions in the last 2 months, and it was incredible help because they were reluctant and they had been dug in for a long time. Other demons that are more situational, where maybe it's not, they haven't been attached for so long, they still take hours. And I still come back and check the person. I usually have people give me 2 weeks to work on them so that I can look and make sure that, kind of how the progress is going, and check in and take care of anything else that I might see after the first one is removed.
They can be quite tricky, can't they? Particularly,
so
there's the higher level ones.
Yeah, they come in through the heart, right? They want to stay there. What I find is they wrap around. There'll be at the occipital area in the head where they can kind of drive the nervous system. And so people will say a lot of times to me, like, I just can't sleep. I can't, you know, I mean, my adrenals are on all the time. That's because you have this thing, right, that's attached to you. That's in the driver's seat now. And it wants to be there. It wants you to burn out. It wants to take your energy. You know, it wants you to feel fear and, you know, all that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when you're looking at some of the areas, the entry areas or entry points, some individuals are also saying that not only do they feel it at the back of the neck, but they also feel in the solar plexus area. So in the underneath your belly button, you feel that tightness, and then you get that funny little sicky feeling where you're a bit nausea, but also you have the three areas, so the heart, the back of the neck, and then just under the belly button. And sometimes that's like the what they call complete demonization or possession. Yes. Do you find that?
Absolutely, yeah. When one has taken over, and I find it takes about 7 years when they're attached, they'll be completely integrated to the person, and that's exactly what I see. The super interesting thing is about that is you almost can't determine what's the personality of the demon and what's the personality of the person. And people will say that too, like, I don't know my daughter anymore, or, you know, that kind of thing. And when they're extracted, they're like, oh my gosh, I got my daughter again. And I can see her, I can see it in her eyes, and she's softer again, and we're communicating. It's really beautiful. It's really deceptive because you can't easily see them. Like, you have to know what you're doing to find them on a person and to see them. And so, yeah, they can really get a hold, especially after 7 years.
They do. And do you find that initially when you get asked for help as a really well-known clandestine demon hunter in America, do you find that sometimes they hide and then you can't find them, or do you have to do a little bit of a Sherlock Holmes to go and root them out and go and find them? How does that work, please?
That is such a great, that's a great question. They absolutely hide. They try to go camouflage, and they're like, even if when you're first, let's say, like, approaching them, I tell people I never make eye contact with them. I don't want to know too much about them because I don't want them to even really detect that I'm there. And you can have big problems that way. But when I sense that they're there, if they sense me at all, they'll wrap around the body and kind of become invisible, or they're kind of almost go inside the person. Very hard to see. Yeah. What else was your other? You had something else. They're tricky. Oh, they can even one instruction that I had Beverli help me with. It actually came off the body as if it had gone away and kind of out of my view. And I was like, oh, it's gone. But then I was going, is it really? You know, because it looked clear, and then it came right back. And that's when I asked Beverli for a hand, because I knew this was going to be a really tricky bastard to work with. Yeah.
They can be. They're quite awful. And then what I wanted to bring Selma in as well, because Selma utilizes soul, some of the soul light language, and we know that the soul speaks to the soul, and it's something that a demon cannot understand. So in your opinion, do you think, Selma, that this particular type of soul to soul communication, which is angelic, which is a higher vibration, do you think, in your opinion, this would be a useful tool for a good protection or good defense against these darker forces?
Yes, absolutely. And not only protection and defense, but also for clearing and healing, for sure. Because as we know, light language, or the voice of the soul, is nothing but vibration, codes, frequencies, movements. So when I talk to you, for example, in this way, okay, Beverli, I have to tell you something. My heart is bumping because I have to tell you, I really dislike you. I really don't like you. Do you believe me? Do you believe me if I tell you this in this way? Why?
No.
Why?
Because of your energy.
Exactly. And when I tell you, I have to tell you something. Beverli, you know what? It's something that has been burning, and I cannot hold it back. I really have to tell you how much I love you. Would you believe me in this way?
Probably not. but other people might.
Most of the audience won't believe me, because it's not what I say, it's the frequency, the energy, and the vibration behind it. And this is what the light language is. So when I go with intention, okay, even when I work with someone to clear them, to clear their energy, the energy line, the energy fields in the body, even when I do that, I go through the different levels of the chakras. And when I go like to the deeper chakra, even my tone and my voice gets a bit deeper. And the higher I go, the higher goes my voice. So this is something similar. It's like the way how I use it in my tonality, in my voice, in my frequency. So absolutely, yes. For sure.
Yeah. So our demon hunter, Kate, would you agree with those sort of comments? You know, give us your experience and maybe give us some examples of your experience, please.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Are
you when you are, you know, if you're looking at those that are particularly tricky and those that either hide or those that, you know, try to go deeper into the person that you're trying to clear, where they then wrap themselves around the spine and then go deeper into the back of the neck, which is the powerhouse of your beautiful energy that you get. It's in the back of your neck, from the base of your spine to the back of your neck. When you see that sort of thing, do you think that this light language and all these techniques that you're using, could you explain to us and the audience what techniques would you use in order to be able to undertake a successful extraction?
My technique is I always work outside and I have a fire. I work in nature and I have a fire. I have protective crystals and, you know, and things like that with me. But I also know where my strength is too, with the beings that help protect me. I know exactly who they are and I call on them and connect to them. But I'm probably more Hindu in the way that I'm actually chanting while the extraction is occurring. I'm calling in my power help, you know, the earth, the divine. I use Christ, but sometimes Shiva or sometimes Kali will come in. I open that up. Who's here to help this person? Who's here to protect me? Who's here to remove this demon? And I'm actually chanting. I'll actually hear chanting in my head, like singing the praises of the god or goddess that's coming in to help. It's so beautiful. So I'm witnessing it and I'm holding a space for it. That's what I'm doing.
Oh, that's really wonderful.
And Salma, to your point, I'm looking at, when I'm looking at the things that are hiding, I use it like a 12 chakra system where you have 7 chakras in the body and the 5 off. And all the fields wrap around us, right? So the first chakra field wraps around and the second one wraps around that, third and whatever. I'm kind of poking around and looking at where are they? Because there definitely will be things hiding kind of in that energy, even curses and hexes and all that stuff too. But the demons too, they'll hide. And like you said, Beverli, they'll go in to hide. They'll come closer to the body. So you almost can't see them. And they can even like mimic like what an organ looks like. Or a gland looks like, if you were to look with your mind's eye and you're like, oh, that looks just fine. No, it doesn't. I want to say something interesting if I can. I recently worked with a person that has cancer, and she said, Kate, I want you to take a look and see what's going on. Of course, she had one big nasty demon on her. And when I looked at the rest of it, I go, well, let me check this cancer out. Well, over the area where she had the cancer was a being completely engulfing that. And that was wonderful because we couldn't, like if I was energetically going to work with the cancer, I actually couldn't move it. And I was like, why? And I go, oh, I bet there's something here. And it was. It took on the identification of it. Once you remove that, then you can remove the disease and the illness under it. It's the same way with Lyme disease. There will always be a feeder being on a Lyme with a person that has Lyme. What it looks like is a big, it kind of looks like a big nurse spider. I mean, actually, I've actually seen one that had almost a cross on it, like a red cross on it, really nasty. Or they'll look like the in between a tick and a spider, but they will be there just like with a hose to that person, drinking their life force. I've seen that so many times. So
they are particularly nasty. And would you say that we do get a lot of questions about after the extraction, and we do call it an extraction, and perhaps you can explain more about that, but talk about the extraction process, and then how much of that the subject that is having the extraction undertaken, how much of that will that person actually feel? What is the level that will come through to them, either at a higher spiritual level, higher self, or even in the organic body? How much of that does the individual feel?
That's a great question. What I find is if I'm doing it face to face with them, they'll feel more, and they'll think it has to hurt, and it's going to be like a painful extraction. The way I work and my request to, let's say, the helper beings that are working with me is make it gentle, go slow, make sure the person is feeling relaxed and calm. You know what I mean? Even sometimes I'll see them put like a salve over in between the being and the person as it's being extracted. It literally looks like you're pulling something. You're actually pulling something. You always have claws. You're pulling those out of the person. So you're asking, go very slowly. And then after 7 years, what you're getting is when you're pulling that off, they are really like dust, almost like dust, or when you burn something in the fire, that's the imprint that's left in the body. And so it's not just about removing the being. I'll do that first, but then it's about let's extract the residual energy it left, and then let's extract the toxins that it had put in the body. The toxins will always look like black sludge, poison. Though even if you were going to smell them, vile smell, which there's a process to even get those out. So once I've done that, I'll let the person rest, and I'll come back because there's more. There will always be more of that sludge and more to remove. Let me see what else you asked, Beverly. What's their process? I hope they don't feel much. They don't report feeling it. I actually like to work at night. I say to the person, I'll probably do it when you're asleep. I'm a night person. I love to work outside at night too, when I can. They'll say, I didn't feel it, or I slept. But they'll say, when I woke up, they say, oh my gosh, somebody turned the sun back on. And they'll have tears. They'll be like, wow, I'm getting emotional about it. They'll have so much tears, and they'll say, like, I'm back. Somebody switched my light back on. Like I was trying to feel myself, and I was trying to drive my life, and I couldn't. And it was like, they said, I'm like, it feels like I'm in the back of a cab and somebody else is driving, and there's plexiglass, and I can't, communicate anything, or I can't, whatever. I'm like totally trapped. And they'll say night and day difference. And then very, very quickly, they'll restore their energy, and they'll restore their health. It's really something. It's, I love it for that. Just for that alone. I love being able to help somebody like that. Night and day difference. I hope I answered all your questions, Beverly.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely, you did. So there's a lot of individuals that ask about, well, I don't believe that I've been to a place where I could either attract or pick up these things, and I don't believe that there's something that could have caused this level of demonic possession or demonization within me. Or do you find that sometimes you have to explain to individuals where there are these attachments? Could you give us some idea of how these things could become attached? What situations are they, apart from the usual, like drinking to excess, smoking green stuff, being, very involved with substance abuse of any type, be that, taking, recreational stuff, which are things we can't say, obviously, or anything like that. Is there anything else other than those that would open the energy body particularly?
Absolutely. Let's say we're tired and we're not feeling well. Maybe we have flu. Anything that kind of compromises our body, like you said, the drugs and the alcohol, complete and utter exhaustion because you're working too hard, and you're not recharging. When we say recharging, it really is recharging. You putting your feet on the earth literally gives you that life force energy back. So if you're not taking time to do that, that's a big red flag. But there's all kinds of events we're involved in. Soccer matches are a great place to catch, a demon energy, especially if you're not feeling that well, let's say. What else have I seen? Oh, I've seen people playing with a Ouija board. Oops, I felt something crawl up my arm and now it's on my back and it won't let me go. And they never thought that was even a reality.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody that has a very serious illness, like a chronic long-term, I see demons attached to them. It's more than one. They'll always have at least one feeder being, sometimes more, but they'll have more energies attached. I think it has to do with the lack of oxygen at times in the body into the brain. And then they'll attach many people that have had a head injury or a concussion of some kind, even if it seems like it's a really light, mild concussion. I'll find a demon attached to that. And they'll be like, well, it can't be. I didn't lose consciousness. It doesn't matter. It only takes a split, not even a second. And that thing is going to be in there if it has the opportunity. It's almost like when the other thing is whenever we leave our body, I think we're at risk for that as well. I mean, if you're a remote viewer and you know that your body is protected, you're fine. But there are a lot of people that are going into other realms because they want to explore and they're not realizing, oops, I brought a succubus back with me. I flirted with it and it came back with me. Now it's all wrapped around my spine because that's what they do. And then they literally suck the life out of you. And so they're like, oops, I made a mistake or whatever. So there's a lot of ways. There is indeed. Like when our energy level is down and we're not particularly paying attention. Beverly, let me say one more thing. I think the fact that we don't think they exist gives them the great opportunity to, I'm going to hang around and waiting for my opportunity. Like we've got to really, I'm glad you're getting the word out there because there's a whole unseen world of all these things going on. And if we're not aware of it, we're the prey. I mean, you know what I mean? We're the victims. Yeah. We're not taking it seriously. So
we're the fast food. We're the fast food. And that's it. So Ron has come to join us. Let me introduce you to Ron. This is Ron Swanson. This is Snyder and obviously Selma Light Mother, who are our guests on the show. We're having some very serious conversations, and I'm sure that you must have some questions too, Ron.
Well, look, I heard you say every time Beverly batters home about recreational substances and demons, she's only bringing it up to drill it into my brain. Okay, like every single time she's seen me down there, and she was like, "I know you're listening, Ron. I know you're listening." So here's the thing: when we look at history and creativity and creation, music, art, this kind of thing, so much of it can be attributed to substances, shall we say. Do you think that is where this whole concept of demon music and demon concepts come from, because of these psychedelic experiences some individuals have had throughout history?
Are you asking me or?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, I definitely. Yeah. I think that's part of it, Ron. But I also think that the demonic has been built into our society from the ground up. If you look at how it runs, every system, I'm going to say every system seems like at the top there's live demons or people that are paired with live demons to run things. So I think it's part of our, deeply woven into our culture. It doesn't matter what culture you're from. But yes, I do think that the experience of drugs really would influence people because they're visiting some of the realms. I have a real example of this.
Babe, I'm going to have to step away. I'm getting a real weird.
Yeah.
Feeling,
Ron,
like a real weird feeling like someone's doing this, like in my, like someone's just went like that and started wiggling it around right in my chest. And that's an oddity for me. I don't know what that means. So
yeah,
just
and
give me
luckily, you know, it's not me, because you know what if I start with you, you know
I know
exactly what I do.
your finger feels like
I
when it
know,
enters.
yeah, you know
I know
when I
exactly what it
start.
feels like. So no, but
It's
that
not
was
me this time.
interesting. See,
Not
that's
me this time.
interesting. Because Bev told
You know
me
what I
that.
think it is? You know what I think it is, Ron? I think that the wee chap that helps you out, they do have a reaction to Kate.
Now that was Kate. Can I ask, how did you start out in this? Was there a moment where you were drawn in by something that attacked you? And did it attack your chest or heart? Was there something where it tried to grip and get a hold of you? Because I felt like that. I felt the exact. That was the same feeling as when I do the readings with the cards. When I clock in on someone, it wasn't like I felt something evil was attacking me. I was feeling something that someone's felt, and I'm still learning, ladies. Okay, so if I start rambling a bit, I'm still learning. But that was odd. That was real odd.
Ron, you're right on it. Okay, about a little over 20 years ago, I was a contractor at the Pentagon and the Air Force Base, and I did a large technology project. Here's what I'm going to say. On the weekend that the project was over, I was driving on a mountain road on a full moon night, and a car crossed the line and hit me. I ended up with a major head injury. It was so severe that I had to learn to read again. I had to learn to write again. I had to learn to rebuild my life again. During the process of healing, after surgeries and long stays in a pain clinic, my neuropsychologist said, I want you to see an energetic healer because I think something's going on. And sure enough, big old fat ass demon, right? And other attachments. And when she removed that, I just remember being reintegrated into my body. It's like I could feel myself. I couldn't feel my fingertips almost before. It wasn't because of anything, it wasn't because of a disease or anything, but it was like I couldn't feel who I was. And when that was removed, the main one, because there were other things underneath it, it turned on a light and I was alive again. And that's how it felt. The crash was like that, but also the demon coming in, and there were interferences as well at the Pentagon for sure.
See, why would I need to know that though? And I'm not going to delve into it now, Kate, but for me, I think it's something else. Because I wouldn't need to I wouldn't need to feel that. Do you see what I mean? So I don't know. I'll figure it out. But there's something.
Yeah, you bet.
It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah, figure it out, Ron.
Happened there. Salma.
Maybe you need that for your kids. Maybe you need that. Maybe you need that knowledge to know how to protect your kids.
Oh, listen. You're talking to. Listen. First of all,
and intentionally, Maybe
first of all, you're talking to a guy who spent almost 10 years putting literally organized crime groups for doing bad things to kids in jail. I am fearless when it comes to them. I'm a pagan witch. This place is sealed at my G. I'm telling you now, the reason I wasn't concerned about what I felt is because I spent 3 years on the wording for the protection that is over me. Because the universe wants to make hard examples. So you got to word things right. And it took years. So I am beyond arrogantly confident on a spiritual realm that my sole purpose is I'm the guy who's going to eliminate evil from this world. Okay. No deal, no big problem, no big task. That is where my mind's at. So for me to feel that, I usually feel that when I'm drawn to somebody when I do a card reading and I tap into the one thing that needs answered and solved in that person. I've never felt that happen just for no reason. And I'll get to the bottom of it. And I'll figure it out. So sorry to derail the entire show, and that was record time that I derailed it as well, Beverly. First of all, ladies, thank you for being here.
It's good. It's good. It's good. It's all good. And we've got Peyton Lyons Gray saying, I'm here, Kate. So there's our Peyton, which is fantastic.
Thank you for being here.
She's lovely. We've got a question also from Uber. Well, it's not a question. He's just sent a lovely super sticker. Thank you so much for sending the super sticker. We really appreciate it. And we appreciate your questions and your constant support, because I know that you're always here. So thank you so much. There's also a couple of other questions, but I think also if you have any ideas around, some of the signs and symptoms because that would be something that our viewers and people in the chat and others, and even later when this interview is actually reviewed, if there's any signs and symptoms that are just so obvious, because sometimes you get people that say, I just don't feel myself, but I don't know whether I have an attachment or whether there's something walking with me or whether there's an ancestral curse or whether there's something, but they're not sure. What are maybe the top 3 things, let's say, that individuals could do to have a look at themselves to understand whether there is an attachment with them or whether there isn't an attachment with them?
I'll start with top 3 are chronic exhaustion. I just can't think. My head is cloudy. Let me think what the third one would be.
It sounds like me every day.
Yeah. What I'm seeing now or lately in the last probably 6 months is a lot of stomach issues, digestive issues, and things like that. Later on, there's a lot of mysterious diseases. Like I'm really ill. It's an autoimmune disease, but they can't find the answer. Like we don't know what it is. Those are the top ones that I see. Also pain. I do see pain, occipital area pain, head pain a lot.
Yeah. Then we have a question here. It's from Tanya's Abundantly Empowered. And she says, I've seen Santeria videos of an extraction of black goo coming from the nose and the mouth. Oh, where did that go? Is this the manifestation of the attachment?
I think so. I see that. Mm-hmm. I see it from what I would consider like a demonic being that would be they're not really from the earth, but I see those, but I've also seen it from what I would say is more of an alien hive mind kind of being. Yeah.
Yeah, they do seem to be, which is quite significant.
Do you find the term demon is way, 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 way too oversimplified? Because it sounds like we're covering a lot of things that we're just kind of wrapping up in the demon. Yeah, okay, so it's like a muzzle.
Yeah,
make it easy for the. That's why I just say pagan witch keeps it simple for the muggles.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Now I work with them, and I can feel the difference and the levels of them and that kind of thing. I don't know what their names or distinctions are. I haven't really wanted to know. I mean, I want to know now because it's intriguing to me. But as I've been going and journaling, just like, hey, this one has this one feels like this. You know what I mean? So I would love to learn more. But
can I ask you one of Ron's dumb questions, right?
Yeah.
So when you say demon hunter, exorcist, I'm assuming that you've been pretty hands-on with removing some pretty scary demons, right?
Yeah.
So if we were sitting down and making your Netflix movie of your life, right? Can you give me the top 2 moments that would have to be in that movie? Like the 2 moments that are just like, this is the one where people are going to be like, no, this is too far-fetched. There's no way this happened, because no one's going to believe it, right? Can you give me those moments? And it'll be the same for you, Zalma, in just a moment. I'm going to circle the question around to you. But could you give us those 2 moments, Kate?
Yeah, I love Ron, you're setting it up like it's very visual. Like I'm almost have, like, I think, okay, let me step back. All of my instructions I do from a distance. I'm 1,000 miles away from people. I'm 200 miles away. I'm not in the same room. All I mean is, and I can see, so what are the top?
In the movie, just so you know, this story, you're right in the room and there's like fire coming out of the end of this person, right? But take us through it, because I understand really deeply now that distance means nothing.
Absolutely.
Nothing when it comes to the frequencies and vibrations. It's the very meaning of it that by its existence, its knowledge of, or even its interpretation of distance it's non-existent. So with that in mind, what were your 2 maddest moments?
Okay. I'll give you my top one. The top one is this. I was working with a particularly difficult extraction, and it wasn't moving, right? Wouldn't come off. I was in front of the fire pit that I have in my yard in the woods, and I was asking for help. Come on in. Okay, the goddess Shiva showed up. went over to the demon, chopped his head off. I visually, literally saw it chopping, and I'm like, oh my God. I was like, and I had this moment of like awe because her energy is fierce.
Yeah.
So I chopped the head off, pulled it off like it was us. I don't know, like some kind of a slugger. Something in somebody, pulled it off, put it in the fire. She went over to the next demon and she did the same thing with delight and glee. I loved it.
I'm telling you,
I absolutely loved it.
Netflix's adaptation of that is going to be kick ass. Okay, Shiva turning up and beheading some mofos. Hell yeah. But here's
I'm telling you, Ron, I was surprised because I didn't ask for her specifically, right? I was just saying, who's here to help? Who can help?
Can I ask? Was it who's here to help, or was it more of a who's here to help, guys?
Yeah,
this is the one.
Yeah.
And Shiva was like, oh, she's that. I can tell by the tone.
Oh, shit.
Right? Yeah, but because that's important. That's really important because I imagine you've asked for help many times, but tone in this one must have been different, right?
Yeah.
And
what started to happen, Ron?
What did you feel that? What
happened is I started to hear chanting. I literally started to hear chanting, like if I was in a Hindu ceremony where they were calling on Kali. And what happened was all of a sudden it's like I see her enter the room, and with a slight smile on her face, but very serious. And then she went after him. That's
when you said you sort of heard the chanting and the summoning, right? What was fascinating to me is what if there was praise being happening somewhere in the world to Shiva, right? And that awakening, let's just put it in Ron terminology. So that internet connection from that praise that was happening right then was connected to Shiva. Your work on the spiritual plane gives you a little bit more of an alarm when you need help. People listen, and it's fascinating to me because what if you tapped in to the one upload connection that you needed to tap into at that time in that panic, and then Shiva's just turned up and been like, listen, Kate, I got your ass, my G, and just starts lopping heads off. Now, was there any eye contact with you during what was going on? Was there ever like, see what I did here? See what I did here? Was there ever any acknowledgement of you through connection? Can you talk me through that? Because that is fascinating.
Let me say, I absolutely know, Beverly and I know an individual together, one of our friends who was actively doing those Shiva chanting and things during that time and has been for this last month. Absolutely. The interesting thing, Ron, is when she came into like the circle, she kissed me on the top of on the forehead and then went into the demon. And I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I'm just like grateful. I had tears in my eyes, Ron. And then when she was done, she winked at me. Not kidding you.
She winked at you.
Yeah, she winked at me.
Listen, I'm not being funny, right? Are you not like, okay, I'm alone now, Shiva? Because that sounds to me like, honestly, no, I'm not being funny, but that sounds a lot to me like he was fangirling out more than you were fangirling out. Like it feels like, I got here first. She wanted help. I got here first. Man, to the rest of the gods. That's what it feels like. Kissing you on kissing you in the one place, the third eye, the most powerful chakra there is. And she's just handing out deity kisses on it.
Look, of course. I think she's saying, Kate, this is real. Here I am. I'm real. Yeah. We have a relationship with you.
To tell Kate this is real. Kate's a demon hunter.
Why would Ron?
She's like,
Ron, why wouldn't they be more like us? They are. Why wouldn't they have a personality a little bit that is?
I get that. I get that.
Acknowledge us.
I get that. And the whole India, Pakistan realm, pretty badass gods. I'm not like if you were building like a god version of Mortal Kombat, there's a bunch that I'm picking from over there. Some of them got like 8 arms in that. Do you know what I'm saying? That's serious. Elephant heads and all kinds of stuff going on there. And it fascinates me. Now I'm gonna just circle round to Salma and her. Same crazy question, and then I'll hand it back to Beverly. Beverly's like, right, Ron, one more question, and then I'm bringing this back on track. So first of all, it's really nice to meet you. And with you, the work that you do and the light language and all of this stuff, I imagine your stories are a little more fun. There's not much of a, is there just as much as a demonic danger element to what you do? just sorry. Oh my God! No, listen. I don't mean fun. Don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. I didn't mean fun and I'm not simplifying. I just don't know how to use words sometimes, right?
Okay.
I feel like Demon Hunter has this a lot of darkness to it, right? And as Mother Light, integrating light language, fun's not the right word, but it certainly seems like it's a more positive sounding title. You know, Demon Hunter sounds like there's a lot of stress going on here. Mother of Light. And again, I don't claim to be educated on anything. And when Beverly roars in my face like that, I know I've said something silly. So forgive me, first of all.
No, not at all. I think I like your I like the way you look at things. I like your perceptions, and I like the question. It's a nice question, but I think it's like this in everything. You know, what is fun? Maybe I don't know, Kate. We haven't asked Kate why she came to that. You know what she's doing right now, and maybe it's also fun for her, because if there wouldn't be a part of excitement for her, I don't think she would do it, and she would expose herself to that danger. So with me, I also do clearing and cleansing, and I'm doing, like, I'm working with people since more than 10 years. I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and I have other certifications within the mental and coaching and like therapeutical and energy healing realm. So I have also been exposed to certain energies, not intentionally like exposing, extracting demons, but cleansing someone. And cleansing someone, maybe I just worked with the little ones, you know, the babies, or the ones that are like out of kindergarten and in middle school. And so it's not that when you work in that field, you're not exposed to these kind of energies. You are actually exposed to these kind of energies. The fun part is when you are able to help that person, to guide that person to get healthy again, to get into their power again, to get into their embodiment, of their own power and their own like will and everything positive that they want to be and have and attract. This is the fun part, actually. And because when I do light language and I activate and integrate and embody this part of someone into someone, it's a process. And with that process, I clear the pipe first, you know, and this is not an easy process, because we have all layers of traumas, you know, in our energy field. We have the different layers, and we not only have those layers from this lifetime, we have in our subconscious mind 4 different parts. Okay, so we learned that in theta healing, 4 different parts. We have the part from past lives. We have the parts from 7 generations from father and mother side. We have the parts where the psychologists say from 0 age to 8 age, everything that happens there is stored in our subconscious mind. And we have the part of the collective. Okay, the collective I grew up in, and I'm also still living in, is affecting me. So it does not help me hiding in my home, because in a place I don't like, and think, oh, I'm secured from that collective. No, I'm energetically connected. So you are dealing with all of that as a demon hunter, as an energy healer, as a therapist, as a coach, as a massage therapist, whatever you're working, what you're doing in that field, you're dealing with that. You're dealing with these energies and these information someone carries in their body, in their cells. And then you have to like be, skilled enough to deal with what comes out. In the case of Kate, she's intentionally looking for demons, or like for these entities, intentionally. I, for example, I look for, okay, what is blocking? What comes up? I'm not intentionally looking for any dark entities, but I can point my finger, I can sense them, I can feel it, and I can see it within the field of someone. And then I can deal with it with my skills, with my tools. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, it definitely does, because it's the lower hierarchy. So when we start looking at the hierarchies, you've got the lowest rankings, which are things like, the branchless ones, the ones that are continually walking. Then you also have those that are sort of tribe demons, that have created their own tribe and their own individuals that are around specific peoples. So you can have those that are, for instance, that have created a financial empire, or alternatively a pleasure empire, those that utilize powers and gratification of the organic body. You have them as what we would call a tribe. There's a tribe that likes organic body pleasure. There's a tribe that likes only financial pleasure, and they will do anything that's possible, and literally anything that's possible, in order to be able to assist the person or the human being that they're attached to get to that goal. But they are, believe it or not, they are still lower level demons, and those are pretty easy to remove. So I would imagine that's what you would be talking about there, Salma.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, like, up to my experience, I wouldn't say I'm skilled enough to deal with like a high rank demon, okay? But I could sense if there is something, and then I would refer that person to someone I trust and I know that can help that person, and then the person would come back to me, and I take it on from there, So that would be my question. And the fun part, it is fun, it is fun for me to help someone,
Yeah,
like,
I'm never going to live this
back to their wholeness.
Oh, I understand. I'm never ever going to live down that one saying, like, I guarantee you we'll have "this is fun" merch for next week on a mug, right? I'm telling you that now. So let me get this right. I often hear people talking about spiritual hygiene, right? About the routine of cleansing. And for me, it's very much the preemptor. It's not letting things build up. It's getting ahead of problems before they start. And Salma, that sounds like the sort of thing that you would specialize in, right? And if there was a serious problem, you would bring in someone like Kate, who can deal with the serious, when things have built up too much.
And I also believe that the clients who need me are attracted to me. The clients who need Kate are attracted to Kate. I also believe that, Yani, that there is the higher self, the soul, kind of like steering also in the back. This is also what I believe in, or like experience too, But what you're adding on what you're saying is, that's why it's so important to, like, for us all to come together, because when we come together, we can like build a chain of support, a chain of support, like each category, like a holistic category, on, like, let's call it like spiritually holistic, I don't know, light workers, so that, like, when someone is through with Kate, she would send them to me, I would send them to someone else, and the other way around, for example, you know what I mean? And then we have also other people who like have their category, and this is why it's so important for us all to find each other and to like come to each other, that's why I'm also so happy that I found your channel, and I found you all, and like to live for the light, and to work for the light.
We all work together. Yeah, this is true.
Exactly.
I'm quite happy in the grey, just so you know. Like, I'm very happy in the grey. Very happy in the grey. I'm
so beyond grey. Your personality is so beyond grey.
Oh yeah, that's because the dark side. I mean,
nice, actually.
the dark side. See, when I say the grey, right? I mean, I'm completely settled with who I am. I'm very aware of the good things that make a human and the bad things. I think the world needs balance. We need good and bad. There's no place for evil.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
the wolf eating the deer, great for the wolf, terrible for the deer.
That's the
balance.
Yes, I'm not saying I'm not saying love and light. I'm not this person at all. I'm not this like, oh, we just need love and light, we all want. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying you go back to your wholeness, and wholeness meaning like having a balance between all the different sides and the forces.
100%. I am that guy.
This is what I meant by that. And I also want to tell you a story. I once knew someone. It's now the ex-husband of a friend of mine. He's a highly huge successful person. Okay. And at one point he developed like bipolar. And then at one point he also met, I think, someone who works in that spiritual realm, you know, something similar like Kate. And then he told him, yeah, you have several things attached to you, etc. And you would be much better and you would be healthy if you leave them. And then he was saying, no, I love that darkness. No,
100%.
Because of that darkness, I can be that creative. So there are also
balance,
a lot of people out there who intentionally, like, really, like, allow that to happen.
Well, see, through a series of interesting circumstances, I have the two sides of me manifest. There's all things good on one side and all things bad on the other. And it's got nothing to do with demons. It's entirely to do with the person. Okay, we are capable, you know, jealousy, rage, you know, all of these things that are the negative side of humans that are part of us all. That, I mean, I embody all of it and have the balance, you know.
It's a shadow side. It's neither good nor bad. It's a shadow side, because, you know, like, because what you claim as your bad, okay, could be for someone else the interesting part for in you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not ashamed.
Completes them. So everything is a matter of perception.
100%.
For me, where there is the line is when I'm not fully in my power, when I'm not the person who's steering myself, you know. So this is where
that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of it, Salma.
Yeah.
It's always me, because it's a mixture of the two halves of me. What I think you're talking about is when people go too far into the darkness that isn't them. It's a lifestyle or whatever. And luckily, with great power comes great responsibility. And luckily, I'm one of these people that I like to form communities and bring people together and know that they're protected, because I can do incredibly horrific things to people when they cross the line and sleep like a baby, right? And when it comes to leaders, you need the very well balanced, slightly ADHD on the spectrum sociopaths that use their power for the good of mankind. And that balance is what lets us all live in synchronicity. You know, Beverli Rhodes, for example, has done more change in me in a fundamental level, right? In a way that is like, oh, she's done it, but she's not actually doing it. Free will, right? Like, I'm watching you, Beverli. But it's profound, the impact this woman's had on me, right? Not just from a personal level, but from a understanding gifts and magic and all of that too. But why? Why has that happened? Why is Beverli Rhodes the one that's made that happen when she's not sitting there going, hey, Ron, light side, mate, come on. She's not done any of that. Nothing, absolutely nothing.
Well, I don't know. Do you want an answer from me or maybe from Beverli, or do you want?
Beverli's not going to give me an answer. She's going to deny it all and pretend she doesn't know what I'm talking about. Be like, oh, she's not going to do that. So give me your interpretation, Zelma, because I don't really and she's not got me under a spell. Okay, that's not that.
Well, I don't know. I mean, like, I just met you, so I don't know you. I don't, you know. But I think the effect Beverli has on me, and I can only talk from that point, and maybe she has the similar effect on others. I think it's someone inspiring, coming from that background and going to that other extreme and to that other way with those gifts and insights and experience and heart. So maybe that's why. You find.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you if I hadn't met other people who had gifts that had zero impact on me. It just fascinates me. Beverly Rhodes is an amazing person. Also, as well, listen, if you think that I'm mocking Beverly Rhodes, right, you do not understand the respect and relationship I have with Beverly Rhodes. Okay,
that's the way how you show love to her. That's
right. She's one of the boys. She's coming to my stag do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just, that's the relationship we have, right? She's the only, like, literally locker room, like, style relationship with a human I have. It's freaking Beverly Rhodes, my G's. I'm going to be quiet.
Yeah, if you're getting married next year, it's going to be good.
I really would love to ask Kate, if you allow me. I'm really curious, Kate, how did you become a demon hunter? And what is keeping you doing it? Like, what is the thrill for you behind that?
I think it's thrilling. I love removing them. Absolutely.
Okay.
I love removing them and then keep going. Yeah, I'm kind of like a baboon that's picking things off. Like, I'm not kidding. I just love it so much. And what I love, that gives me great satisfaction. But also having the people, talking to the people the next day, you know, the lights back on, they have their life again. That to me it makes it worth it. I got into it because of the head injury and because of the nasty other things that I picked up at the Pentagon. The whole thing is related with the accident and all that. I mean, the whole story is related, but anyways, at that moment with the head injury and then my own healing and realizing how important it was, I would have never thought there was this much going on in the unseen world until I went through it myself.
Can I ask about the head injury?
Thank you.
Yeah.
The head injury. Was there any inclination of demon hunting before the head injury?
Yeah.
There was.
Not a demon hunting, but facing them.
Okay.
When I was a child, when I was about 8 years old, and so. Okay. Is that what you're picking up on?
No, it's interesting because we're going to talk about something in a minute, but did you feel like you chose this or did you feel like you were chosen and now you're stuck with it?
No, I feel like this. I feel like it chose me, but I was ready, but I wanted it to choose me now that I look back at it. Like I walked into it and here it is. Ron, I'm going to say at a very high level, I feel very connected to my galactic DNA, which is Lyran. And I sure as hell remember being on the planet, okay, when these mofos came in and blew it up, okay? I know that I'm here for not just revenge, but I'm here to make this planet be clean and be what we need because the invaders came right back here to the earth and they're doing it again. And so I know deep in the heart of my soul, I'm really glad I remember that because for so long in my life I did. Thank you, Ron. I didn't remember until my head injury who I was and what I really wanted to do.
It was necessary then for that memory, which is
that's an aha for me.
Because I it's weird because again, Beverly Rhodes, I see everything so differently, and it took you. That's what they needed to do for this journey to happen was that head injury, right? Because it's weird when bad things happen to us, and we're like, oh, bad things happen to me, and then you look back and you're like, Jesus, that is what was needed for this to happen, right? And I imagine for you think this is probably the 10,000th lifetime where you walk back in a circle and you pick up your sword each lifetime and you are ready, like you've said. And there's one, I pulled a card for you because this whole chest thing, right, just started annoying me. And the card was the child I was meant to be, right? So when you said something happened at 8 years old, okay, what was it that happened when you were 8?
Can I say it, Beverly, or not? Do I have to say SRA?
Oh, only if you want to. If you want to talk about it, you don't have to. I beg your pardon. I didn't know.
I'm just saying. And and to this day, it's like, okay, these whatever, they're going to pay. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, yeah.
If you know where any of them are, we can talk after the show. I'll tell you that right now.
Thank you.
Ron is very good at hunting really bad people that do bad things to children.
Oh my freaking God. The fucking number on the card's 8.
You said the F word.
I don't care. It's 8. Beverly, on the card it is 8. And you said you were 8.
Yeah.
I don't know why you're surprised with this anymore, Ron.
Every time, Beverly. This is how every single time. every time. Mad.
And I told you something about children, so
Yeah.
I think there's
this is
another
mad.
question about Blessed Beyond Measures is saying, hi everyone, I just tuned in and I heard something about demons and feeling drained. I'm 60 and I have no energy, no life force, and all I want to do is sleep. Could that be my problem? Help.
Absolutely. It looks like it to me if I look at it, if I feel the energy.
does he have a purpose? Question.
Yeah,
Purpose in life?
it's a difficult one. Yeah, it is a difficult one. And then others are saying about their Lyran, Sirian, Nocturne, Pleiadian, and Andromedan, Orion, etc. So one of the questions are, how did you, as a demon hunter, Kate, how did you work out what your star family was and what planets you'd been working on, and how did you manage to remember all of this? What did you do?
I worked with a QHHT practitioner. That's quantum healing hypnosis technique. And they take you back through your other lives. You actually go into the session with your own questions. And I just had tons of questions about it. And then all your questions are answered. So I was really curious, where was I before this life and whatever? Because I was sort of like, I feel like I'm a part of the earth. I mean, as far as the heart of the beautiful mother, but I remember preparing to come down here. I remember taking lifetimes off planet to build my heart with her and to feel like one with her, to prepare for it. But I know I'm not from here. I haven't spent a lot of lives here. And I think that's been kind of tricky too, because you're almost like at some point, where are my people? And we're now re-meeting and we're reuniting. And I have now made beautiful friends that I know that's where our history is off planet.
It's the most important, and I think some of the most important work that you're doing is certainly right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the toughest work now.
It is, isn't it?
I mean,
Oh my word.
There's a lot of darkness now. People are being activated. The demons are in a frenzy. I mean, they're just acting out a lot. Yeah.
Can I just quickly ask one super fast question, baby? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The people or whatever happened when you were 8, is it still very much unresolved business?
Ron, I love your heart. Thank you so much. Because I feel the love from you and the,
there's a reason for this. There's a reason for all this.
Yeah, I know you're trying to get to it, and I appreciate that. What I did is when I remembered what had happened, it happened more than once, but when I remembered it, when I was in my 20s, I went to a person who does something called soul center healing. And it was essentially deprogramming, bringing the pieces of, your soul, even though we don't lose our soul, the pieces and the fractures back together. It was a 2-year process. And then I went on with my life. I wanted to be away from it. I didn't want to think about it. I didn't want to deal with it. You know what I'm saying? I essentially thought that I was done with it and had healed it. Then when I had the head injury,
do you have any? Do you have a website that you can read out so I can put that into the information?
Yeah, KateStirling.com.
Kate, STIRLING.com.
STER.
Okay. Oh, sorry.
Beverly, it's STERLING.
STERLING, right? I'm just putting that in the chat because we have a lot of people asking where to reach you. That's perfect. So please go ahead. I just saw loads of questions.
Ron, let me say one more thing. I have wondered lately, are the people still alive and are they hurting others? And I wonder if that's maybe something you're picking up on.
I don't know if I want to talk anymore about what I think is going on online.
Okay. Maybe you can tell me after the show.
Yeah, even if you're not here for Asria's bit, I would set up another room and send you a link in here because I need to chat about this. This is weird.
All right.
Well, we're getting lots of lovely ladies. Ron, could you put the Asria's information in somewhere at the bottom? Then I can just go down and
Hang on.
fetch it and then talk through it, because at the moment it's not there.
Do you mean?
So,
Sorry, Bev. Do you mean the
Yeah.
scroller on the bottom, or do you mean Asria's?
Yeah, Asria's, the report that she very kindly sent to us to go through tonight.
Asria's not joining us. I beg your pardon. Sorry.
No, she's not joining us tonight. I'm going to go through it on her behalf. She's had a discussion with me about what's in her report. So, because we're not doing the live with James, because that's, like we did last week, she'll be here next week with the person that's been chosen.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. Big shout out to Asria as well. Hope you're doing all right, my
Hopefully
G.
she's listening. Yeah, hopefully she's listening. So we said, has Kate got a website? Yes, we've just put the website in there.
I just took it away. I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
No, that's right. That's okay. We've got another. We've got about 13 starred questions. We've got a new member here that I'm just going to say thank you very much. Keja Subul, thank you for being a new member. And I will get to the other ones in a minute. So let me just hide that. So Asria is usually with us every Thursday in Awakening, and she had sent through these particular alien DNA overviews. And I know, Kate, you'll find this particularly interesting, and so will Salma, understanding all the different DNA that's beginning to awaken in individuals. So we have Christopher Robert Evans, who is Captain America, and he was born in 1981, and his dominant DNA is Assyrian. So you might have heard on other shows here, there, and everywhere, people talking about blue beings. So there are many different types of blue beings, including blue avians, but this one here is a Syrian blue alien being. So we'll get down to the rest of it, and let me just go down to the bottom. I don't know how we do that. How do we get to the bottom, Ron?
Oh, sorry. Here we go. I beg your pardon.
Ron.
Yeah, Ron's back. I'm sorry.
Bottom. Yeah, so Scarlett Johansson. Ron's back. Right. So this is the other celebrity is Scarlett Johansson, and she was born November 22nd and in 1984. And when you look at her, and you can almost see that her dominant alien DNA is from the Pleiades sector. And she just absolutely shines through with that Pleiadian energy. So these are the two. And I know that Asria will be putting these two on her Patreon in case you want to have a look at that any further. And then next week, she might be able to give us some further info about them specifically. But those are the two that were chosen for today's alien DNA. And I hope that that resonates with everyone. Certainly, I think the best one is Scarlett Johansson, because the energies around the Pleiadian is absolutely super.
Yeah, I find I can spot a Palladian like easy peasy, right? I do. It's weird because I don't really know anything about them compared to the next off-worlder. It's very somebody. We need an encyclopedia, Asria, please. In fact, we can maybe talk about something like that, because we need that. We need a point of reference where, like, I already want to know more, but I don't want to listen to anyone else. I want to listen to the woman who told me about the off-world DNA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want more. So it just fascinates me, and I am so here for it all, because I've been learning interesting things about when people say, "Oh, I'm not religious, but I worship Jesus." For the last year, that has confused the living hell out of me, right? And I've met so many people now that it's finally sunk in that they have picked the person they want to worship, like I have, but they're not going with the mainstream version of what they feel their faith is. And it's incredible how many people have different deities that all come from different parts of faiths and religions, and they don't feel bound by what these books are telling them. And it's a fascinating journey. I'll give you that. But the off-world side to me is the newest thing, right? Like, ghosties, demons, fire pixies, fairies. We've all heard of them, whether it's movies or your own experience. But when we start applying the most sci-fi style element to this journey for me, which is the off-world side of it all, it makes every single religion make sense to me, right? Every single one of them, when all these deities are freaking dudes on spaceships, right? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm saying it. It makes so much sense to me. You take away the spaceship, okay, I imagine it's more complicated than that, because I often think to myself, if you're an interdimensional super being from another planet, how come you like? I guess you still have to make a spaceship, right? Let's be honest. I can't imagine they're like immune to the vacuum of space, right? Like, so it always makes me wonder, like, the technology and all of that, and they're all sitting up on their big spaceships, and for some reason, our belief in free will and intent, that is major to them, but it all makes sense. But at no point is there stories of galactic wars between Odin's fleet and, you know, Jeebus up in the sky. I feel like there's like a level of courtesy between a lot of these gods that I believe are in spaceships, and it feels like there's room for everyone. So I just want to say, if you're a religious person and you're what I would refer to as an extremist, okay, it's okay. We can all coexist. We can all coexist. There's room for all the gods. And when you talked, Kate, about physically seeing one, that was my experience with a god and how I became religious. I was non-religious for over 30 years. I couldn't grasp blind faith. It didn't make any sense to me. Like, blind faith, what? And if I'm going to have faith, why am I on the 17th version of a book that's apparently the word of some guy? That what? If you're an all-seeing being that can see through space and time, and the first version of your book talks about the perfect way to have a SLAVE, does that mean we should all still have them because he has foresight to know what the future has? Did he want that left in? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So when you bring man into it, that's where we have the problem, right? Because man has a curse, which is greed, power, and control, and all of this stuff. When you've seen that deity, it was that, how many times have you seen deities that you can identify, first of all, Kate? But does it just batter home just how prevalent all faiths are for you?
Yes, the second part. That was the first time I've seen that one. Otherwise, honestly, I'm working with the Christ all the time. Sometimes I've worked with Jesus. There was one extraction that wanted to respond to, that really responded to the one true Christ, or the one, the one true Jesus. But other than that, I leave it open. I bring Christ in with me, and I leave it open to if I need other help.
Yeah. So have you witnessed Christ as well? Have you witnessed Christ help?
Almost always.
I need to ask some questions. So when he's kicking ass, what is he doing? Like, because I imagine he's very chill compared to like lopping his head.
Completely different. You know what he does, Ron?
Yeah, please tell me, please.
He walks up to the demon, touches them almost like you would think of Spock doing, touches them. It renders them, they become paralyzed. He takes them, he wraps them up in a cloth, a sackcloth.
Yeah, class, pure class, pure class. Pure class. Absolutely. He's like, listen, I'm going to send you to the shadow realm, but I'm going to do it really nicely and delicately. I'm even going to give you I'm going to even give you a blankie. Okay. Pure class. Pure class. Love that. I'm telling you, man. Do you know?
And when there's those that we know factually, there are some that absolutely give a lot of trouble. And just will not leave their chosen individual that they are attached to. And secondly, we have done pretty much everything we can. We know that there is one last realm that we can go to through all the different consciousnesses. And when they can't go to the cube and they will not leave the person that they're attached to, we also know that there is a way in which we can ask for permission to turn them to dust. So could you explain for our viewers that all is not lost? Because sometimes, and I will say this, there are some unscrupulous individuals out there that will say to somebody, and I've seen this many times in the last 46 years, there are people that say, oh, you know, I can do this and I can do that. And then they charge an exuberant, you know, hundreds and thousands of whatever the money currency is. And they actually don't really do very much. And then they either come to me or they come to you or they go somewhere else and they say, I paid all of this money and this thing is still here. I still feel it. I still know it's walking with me. Because these people, or you get those that are honest and say, whatever you've got walking with you, buddy, it's a high level one, it's a Duke level, or it's a, you know, one of the top ranking levels. I cannot deal with it. Find someone else. So if I know there have been a number of occasions. So could you give our viewers and individuals, you know, what is it that is done in order to deal with those that are significantly high up? Very powerful. What is, you know, what is the process and procedure, and how often, in your opinion, does it take place?
I've seen it twice this year. I'll say that. Yeah. I called you, Beverly. That's honestly the truth. But what I see take place is, what I see, it's almost like lightning. I would say it's like similar to a blue violet flame. And it just tortures them. I agree with you, Beverly, that 100% you can get rid of anything that's available. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted us to be able to say, because I just want folks out there to know that no matter what country you're in, there is always a demon hunter in your country. And there is always someone that is able to work with this. And if not, then they will find the people that they need to work with, like myself or Kate or Aquana, who's American native tribesman who knows and understands this. And of course, our lovely Selma. And we do often all work together because we all hold the corners. And when you hear about holding the corners means that we create a channel going up of light into the atmosphere. And there's 4 corners plus 2. North, south, west, east, up, down. 4 plus 2. And you hold the corners. And what we do then is whoever's doing the extraction, we will hold the corners and we will give that energy and that light, and we will hold it so that it's in a cage, like a cube, and it cannot get out. And then Kate will do what she needs to do, and we will all support her to make sure that she's safe. And pretty much, I will say that most demon hunters across the world all know each other. So it's an unusual one. So thank you for confirming that for me there. Jordan, who is American native indigenous individual, has a very good question for us. And she says, and Jordan is from the Zuni tribe. And she says, does it help to know which principality rules a territory to have a successful extraction? So it's a complicated question. Yeah. And what Jordan's trying to get at is, of the souls of the ancestors that remain on the land in that territory for American native indigenous folks, is it necessary to know what's within the land? Obviously, we will extract things we'll keep things out like skinwalkers, because that's something totally different, but what is necessary regarding ancient territories? I'll pass that question on to you, Kate.
I don't find that it's necessary, but it's helpful. It's almost like I'm tuning myself to the vibration of what I'm extracting in a way, let's say holding that vibration, and I would have to find what it is. I'd have to tune myself to it and go through it. But if I know exactly, if I was able to know what the principality was first, then I can go in and I'm kind of holding that vibration, if that makes sense. I'm more like a tuning fork. But yeah, great question.
So Jordan, I hope that helps. And we're very lucky in our group of, international universal demon hunters. We have got Aquana, and Aquana is part of a different tribe. and she's online, and she helps particularly with American Indian individuals in particular areas, natives that have got problems, where she speaks to the shaman, like Jordan would be speaking to the shaman, speaking to all of the wise men and understanding what's been happening, because there are one or two interesting facts with indigenous native individuals across America where there has been a lot of unrest and where there has been, particular incidents with souls. There's a lot of skinwalkers at the moment.
All right.
And we have got a skinwalker specialist. And he's called Johnny Blue Eyes, and Johnny Blue Eyes works as well with Aquana. So there's a totally different type of being that comes from the land. They're very, very interesting, extremely interesting. And I'm sure with the ones that you've found as well are very interesting. So that was a great question, Jordan. And thank you so much for the $5 super chat. We've got another question from Wench, and she says, do you know why I keep dreaming about a demon from a house that I lived in when I was little? Kate.
For me?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm going to tune into that. If anybody else wants to answer, go ahead. But let me just.
So, Selma, do you pick up any energy around this particular question, please?
I was wondering if that demon disguised itself as the spirit friend when she was a kid, in that house.
Mm-hmm.
This is what came to me first thing, and maybe that's why. Maybe she I would like to know if when she dreams of that demon, is she actually excited or is she fearful? So.
Mm-hmm.
And that would like give more answer to that question, or like to what I said, because if she would be like indifferent or like even like happy about like being together in that realm while we're sleeping, we are in a certain realm with the demon. If then that could be the case, maybe that's why.
I can explain to you what I got. I got with Wenche. I got a fall, and I got a tree, and I got like a springtime area, but then I got extreme cold, like a really, really cold place with snow. And this it's a lower demon, though it's not one of the main ones. It's like really low level one. It's one that doesn't belong in a particular group or something. So it must have been something that was on the land before, because it's really low level. But this took the opportunity to attach itself lightly to the child that had something that happened, either fell from the tree or fell off the bicycle or did something like that in the spring. But then I get the cold weather, and that's when the headaches and when something was happening with the body. So if any of this makes sense and you're still listening, please put some stuff in the comments, and you never know, you might get a gong. But let's go to our demon hunting expert, and let's understand what Kate is picking up and what you have got to say about Wenche, please.
This is interesting, but the demon doesn't seem like a particularly nasty one. It almost reminds me of what I would think of like if you see a baby djinn that just doesn't have a place to go, attaching to you like as a friend. So I don't have this ferocious energy like it's trying to hurt you, but more like it befriended you. I'm curious about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't say it's just a low level one, and you're right. It's one of those that they're not homeless, but when you start looking at all the hierarchies, they're right at the bottom. They really are the bottom feeders. They're what we call the branchless ones. They don't have a branch. They don't have a group of them. They're just right at the bottom. So yeah, no, they're not really capable of doing anything. So thank you, Wench, for the question, and obviously for the super chat too. So let's go further down and see what. So we've got another one from Georgie Kane, who's saying, watching from New Zealand, I can speak light language with the star, thank you, but do not know what it means! Exclamation mark. So Salma, this light mother, this is for you. Could you help Georgie Kane, please?
Yes. If you don't know what it means, then your mind is in the way. Your mind is in the way to make sense of it, or to make like to want to understand it. This is what was my problem also in the beginning. It's like I wanted to understand it with my logic. So try to put your mind aside and tune into it. Feel it. Okay, you will understand, and you can ask your higher self to make you understand, to open up your heart, your body, your vibration, your senses, to understand it, because you will feel it. It's not a linear way of understanding it. It's not like, okay, house means in English like the house, and in German it means house, or like maison in French. It's not like this. You cannot get one word or two words and it means the same every time. It's not like this, because it's more like the vibration and the energy behind it. So try to tune into it and ask your higher self to make you understand in the way you can understand, not beyond your mind, in the way of where you can feel it, sense it, and maybe you can draw it. Try automatic writing. Sometimes it helps with, if you are right-handed, try to write with your left hand, so you make sure that your mind does not interfere, and just sit with it, and let it flow. That would be my advice.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
So we have from Tanya Rai. So at 6, I think the abuse started. Does this mean I've had attachments since then? Is that why I attracted horrible relationships? And this is the question from Tanya Rai.
Great question.
So
Great question.
It is. It's a great question. So would Kate, what would your comment be?
My comment would be yes.
Okay.
For sure. I'm trying to explain how it's affecting. The way it's affected you is almost like putting a double seatbelt on you and then putting a protector at your pelvic area. That's what it looks like you're bound up.
Oh, wow. Salma, have you got any comments about Tanya Rai?
Well, I mean, like attracted horrible relationships in terms of also like the similar abuse. I mean, if it starts at 6 from a psychological point, or maybe also energetic point, of course, because they feed off of that type of energy. If you are not aware of what happened and what is the dynamic you have inside and outside of you, then you are resonating with that automatically. So that would be the reason why you have these kind of relationships, that are similar to the abuse you had, to the energetic attachments that feed off of that kind of energy. So they're kind of like attracting it. I would like to say something, and I would also like to say that to you, Tanya. I hope I say that right, Tanya, right?
Tanya.
I would like everyone to really know that you are stronger. You are stronger than any evil or any demon, because you are in the body. You have the body. You have the power. You have the connection to light and love, which is more powerful than anything. They don't have that connection. So it's also, it's also where your personality steps into, where your mental state also steps into, where you have to really understand you are powerful. You can also like say no to that. You can also say, I'm not allowing this. I no longer allow that. I'm no longer allowing for that contract. Maybe it's also a contract, a contract that you brought with you. So we need to also start looking beyond that life, beyond what's happening in that physical realm, because everything happens beyond time and space and speed, So it's beyond what we see and what we have experienced in this life. It's beyond that. And I wanted to say also something about and be in the present. Everyone, try to be in the present as much as you can, because only in the present can you be attached to your power. Only in the present. Okay, so don't start and try to bring yourself back in that present moment, because if you always dwell in, oh, that happened to me then, and this happened to me then, and that happened to me then, you're gonna feed that energy, you're gonna feed that attachment, you're gonna feed it. But your strength, your power is in the present moment. That's what I wanted to tell you. And I don't know why it came out when Tanya asked that question. Maybe it's specifically for you, Tanya.
Then we have another very specific question, and I knew this one was coming. And it's come through from our Johnny Blue Sky. So Johnny Blue Sky, he is one of our demon hunters who is in America. He works in a very difficult area. He works in one of the areas where a lot of Western music is created, and there's all sorts of unusual things, particularly demonic wolves and skinwalkers and things like that. He's in Memphis. So what Johnny Blue Sky was asking particularly, and obviously that is his assumed name as a demon hunter, what he wanted to ask particularly was from Selma, if there is a light language code that you could give him, because he will be doing some clearing over the next weekend. He had to travel somewhere specific, and he was asking for a light language code or a light language to go to him specifically, because he feels that he will need something to help.
Yes, I can do that, but I need time to tune into this.
You go ahead and tune into Johnny Blue Sky. We'll come back to him, and he calls us madams, which is fine. I don't mind, because I'm of that age. But
thank you, Mister. So how can I get through to him? So I have to give me 2-3 days, because I'm still a bit sick and my energy is a bit low.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah.
Definitely.
That's fine. I will give you his email address, and that's absolutely fine. But yeah, that's what's happening with Johnny Blue Sky. But so I've passed on the message. I've done what I was asked to do, which is really good. We've got a couple of them, and we've got somebody that's saying, from this person is called Alma Mara. Is for back of the or back of the neck a sign of a demon? So this is a question about attachment specifically.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Uh-huh.
A lot of times the demons, there's more than one, let's say more than one symptom, and over time they tend to get worse. So I would say, yeah, sore back of the neck, but there would almost need to be additional things. I would more, let's say if I'm looking, to me, it looks like there's more of a hex type of thing behind your neck, specific placement behind your head. That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah,
I'm not downplaying that at all. They just will feel a little better, not better. They'll express themselves a little differently in the body.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you so much on that one. Then let me just go back. Oh my goodness, we've got 454 questions. I don't think we're going to get through everybody today. I really don't think we will, but we will do as many as we possibly can. We've got a lot of comments and a lot of integration from all sorts of people. And thank you so much for all of your questions. That is amazing. And we've got some individuals that are saying, oh, God bless you. And yeah, so this is a good question. So what is the difference from Hans B65? What is the difference between a bad spirit and a demon? So Kate, I'll give it to you first.
I always think of a bad spirit as more of a lower level, not so demonic. Maybe it's mischievous, or it's also malevolent, but not. Demon has sort of a ferocity to it. That's how I see them. I mean, I think a bad spirit is a demon. It's one of the lower demons. That would be my answer.
Yeah. So one of the branchless ones, one of the tribe demons that are just about a particular topic. So those that have just those that are, mischievous or want to do a specific task, and that's it. It's one of those, so to speak. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. Yeah.
I'm sorry to quickly interrupt. Can I just ask anyone who's
Yeah.
watching? I'm going to put something up on the screen. Can you screenshot it and post it in the Discord for me? Right. So when we were talking, something happened to my screen, right? And you can see all these lines across my face here. So can you just people in my community, can you screenshot this and see if you can see anything odd? Because that's a direct camera glitch, because the lines only exist within the camera frame and not the overlay. So it's not an internet issue. And I've never seen that happen in my life. And it was at 1 minute.
That we've only got a black screen at the moment. We actually can't see anything.
Wait, you can't see anything?
No, I've got a black screen at the moment.
The side chat can. So that's interesting that you can't see it, Beverly.
No, I can see nothing. I can see something from Prophet Teth, but that's it. I can't see anything else at all. It's a pitch literally, and my entire my dashboard has completely and utterly frozen.
So is there any way? In fact, never mind. Just go back to the questions, Bev.
You still there?
Bev, are you still there?
Well, I kind of can't because.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm still here, but it's frozen, Ron.
Well, just give it a minute.
It's frozen. I can't see you. I can't see Kate. I can't see Selma. I can't see anything.
We can still see you. So we can still see you. We can still see you and hear you as if nothing's wrong. You're coming through perfectly, which is bizarre because if this is really weird. So what to do, Bev? Rather than leaving the live, can you get your mobile phone and try and log in through a second? Like, go into your WhatsApp and I'll send you the panel link and try and log in through your phone.
Just hold on. We've got a problem here. Okay. That can just right. Okay. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna do something here, guys. Sorry, I'm gonna go and come back. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna move you down into the green room, Bev, so no one can see what you're doing.
Okay, do that.
All right. There's some weirdness going on here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Right, and Ron doesn't care if you think he's crazy. All right, Ron's screen going nuts. Beverly having issues. The weird feeling. The coin, by the way, I've not even got started on the coin yet, Kate. Right?
I mean, like, they also come through the technology, no? Like, even when you like watch a movie or you watch anything or like social media,
I get what you're saying.
Social media types. No, but seriously, they also come through technology, right, Kate?
No, I'm fully on board with you there.
Through your devices.
For sure.
See, I'm fully on board with you, right? It's just, I consider myself and Beverly and yourself and Kate fairly. If we were footballers, we're in the Premier League of football. Do you know what I'm saying? We're not normal people by any means. And out of all the people on the panel, they've chosen Beverly to pick a fight with. It's interesting because
she's the Jedi mom.
Yeah, but what are they playing at? And what was that feeling I got? There's something afoot, something afoot, ladies. There is something afoot.
Shall we answer maybe one or two more questions?
Salma, I'm going to very rudely leave you ladies. I'm still going to be here, but I just need to go and check on Bev. So let's just pretend this is like, you're not about to just be abandoned by two hosts on a podcast, but.
Ron, do you have any other questions?
Yeah, I'll pull up some questions. I'm not going anywhere. I need to just look at my phone. 1 second. I speak line language, but okay, here we go. Jordy, I don't know if we've already done this one.
Yes, we did.
Okay,
we
brilliant.
did that.
Nailing it. Okay, I've got a question. Do you know what? I've got a question that'll derail everything again. So, if you are tuned into someone with a demon, Kate, right?
Mhm.
And you are seeing what's going on, and then you meet a cocky Scotsman on a podcast who thinks that he could vaporize that demon with his mind.
Mhm.
And you were like, okay, he's in a corner, see what you can do. I'll be able to see if anything happens. And I try and do something. Would you see it happening if it was to happen to that demon?
Yep.
Dude, that's why we met. This is why this is happening, man. This is why this is happening. I'm telling you, once I've got it confirmed that I can vaporize demons with my mind, I'm Hollywood coming for you, you rascals. Because this isn't, you're not having a conversation with a guy who's fascinated with demon hunting and is like, that's not what it's about. It would just make my job so much easier to take all of that dark power away from people as I'm drop kicking them into the volcano of peace and love. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Right. Beverli Rhodes, you're back. How was that for you? That was
I'm back.
mad.
I'm back. That was lots of fun. That was lots of fun. Yes. Yeah, no, I just, it was one of those, for all of you who are watching, it put its head, it stuck its head out of the screen to say, how's it? How are you doing? What are you doing? Etc. So that's fine. Apparently it was an attachment from someone in the chat. So I just got rid of it. So that's fine.
Well, I've got my opinion on what I think is going on, right? And we're going to discuss it when we're offline, ladies.
Okay.
I'm telling you that right now. Because also, I tried to go straight to questions and then fumbled the entire ball, Beverli. So get some more questions.
But you wouldn't, because it was having a ball. It really was, but it's gone now. We're fine.
Also, if you're part of Ron's call-in server and you would like to put a question to any of the ladies, please join the waiting room in the call-in server, and we'll be able to integrate 1980s technology into 2025 and do a little bit of a viewer call-in. It's freaking shemaze balls.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, no, everyone's saying don't mess with the Ouija board. So yeah, no, definitely not. More likely the troll that we had. We had a troll in the chat that you banned. Sounded like they had it out for Ron. Yeah, that would do it, wouldn't it? Yeah. That would do it, Kate. That would do it.
That's probably the 7th or 8th one of the day. Trust me. Okay, you don't have hair like this and don't gather haters. You know what I'm saying? All right.
Oh, Ron.
Yeah, but if the hater is watching, please feel free to. Yeah, exactly.
That's some serious stuff.
Yeah, when the bleeps come out, you know it's serious.
You know it's serious. Deanne, Dealey, don't worry. You are perfect on your own. You've got so much light with you. Nothing's going to happen to you. So don't you go worrying.
Oh, Deanne's killing it. She is. I did a reading with Deanne. Killing it. And then she applied the reading to her life. And she's smashing it. It's awesome. So yeah, big shout out to Deanne and the rest of the mods. All awesome.
They're all wonderful. Poor wee man. Right, I think we're good. How rude are demons? This has been put up by Little Miss Madhead Jane. How rude are the demons? Oh, that is too funny. Thank you so much. That was definitely quite funny. I did enjoy that. This is the Discord link. If there's anyone who wants to, have we got anybody in the Discord link that wants to talk to us? Ron?
Yeah, I absolutely have. Absolutely have. Just 1 second. Sky Spirit. Our very own Sky Spirit. How are you, Sky Spirit? Thank you for joining us via Discord. I'll give you a minute to turn your mic on, and then you'll be live on the Sean Atwood channel. So how are you, Sky Spirit?
Hello, I'm okay. Can I just watch this with the TV down while I actually hear you over the phone?
Yep, you'll be able to hear. Everybody. Yeah.
Brilliant. How lovely to be here, and it's such. Hello, Kate and Salma and Beverli. How are you doing?
Hi.
Beverly's dealing with some interdimensional tech issues right now, so just bear with her.
Nonsense, but that's fine. They're gone now.
So for those of you who
Okay.
maybe missed last week's show, Sky Spirit is a artist and designer of a lot of the Oracle cards that we know and most of us use. And it's great to have you back, and feel free to address the panel.
Thank you, Ron. Right, my question is this. When I'm working with sort of negative energies and need to sort of say goodbye to something, or I need protection, I tend to work with the Lord's Prayer, or I work a lot with Archangel Michael for protection. However, I'm far from Christian. And I've got my own idea how these things work, but I just wondered if I could hear your opinion on how things like the Lord's Prayer and the Bible, and obviously things from different religions as well, but just from my own experience using those very Christian symbols, even in my very pagan hands, is very, very powerful. So I'd just like your take on that.
Great question. In fact, I'll go around the panel on this one. We'll go around the panel on this one. We'll start with Zelma. Sorry to cut you off, Bev. That was my fault. I didn't realize it was the demons, Bev. Zalma, let's go around all of you because I want to hear everyone's answer on this. So let's start with you.
Me first, okay. It's the intention. You don't have to be connected to that faith as long as you have the intention and you are convinced that it will help. You know, like for example, my background is Muslim, and I also sometimes work with the Quran. So it's about like having faith in that it works, you know, and what kind of intention you have behind it. So you don't have to necessarily be a Christian or be a Hindu to work with the goddess Shiva. So I'm sure if I like open myself to that realm and to that energy, Shiva would also appear to me and would also support me, you know, as long as I believe that this works and I can connect myself and I have the intention that goes in line with the energy that this holy text or that this holy being has. That would be my answer.
Okay.
I like that. Yeah.
And Kate, your answer?
Yeah, I agree with what Salma is saying. Also, like the Lord's Prayer and Archangel Michael, they carry a certain set of frequencies, right? There's a certain feeling that you have about them, a certain power. I think as long as you're using whatever has that power for you, it's gonna have the same power no matter what culture you're in. But I agree with Salma. There'll be certain ones that you're drawn to and that you can identify that power and you'll want to use it. Yeah.
Okay, Bev?
Yeah.
I think the most important thing here is the frequency of faith. No matter what it is, whether it is source, whether it is paganism, druidism, any of the mainstream faith, doesn't matter what it is, as long as there is a frequency surrounding the faith. And whatever literature, prayers, incantations, whatever it is that's surrounding that particular faith that you have as part of that intention, as long as that frequency is there, because if you remember what comes from our chakras, especially the heart chakra that goes out with an energy for 5 miles, and what comes out of our mouths particularly carries that energy, as long as that frequency is there and that intention is there, the frequency of faith, whatever it is, it will work.
Well, Sky Spirit, I've actually got an answer for that too, and I'm about to blow your mind. So for me, it comes down to the basic power of sigils, symbols, and as well as what Bev said, meaning and intent. And I think for so long, so many Christians have outweighed. I think there's more positive Christians over history than negative Christians. I think the positive outweighs the good with general people who have faith. And that intent and worship has been put so heavily into the iconic symbols of Christianity and the words of Christianity that subconsciously all Christians haven't realized that they're part of a very old pagan style form of worship and empowering of symbols. And that has nothing to do with religion. This is the thing. This is entirely to do with a powerful object that represents the Jesus side of the deities. So when you remove the Christian faith from it all, you still have these empowered objects and these empowered words. And what are words? They're basically spells, but you can rebrand them as hymns if you want. You can hymn it up. I'm okay with that. But basically, it's repackaged witchcraft into palatable Christian concepts for a modern age that they don't realize what is happening. So for me, for example, the pentagram, no one's taken that to use that for the good of light, because it's a bit, you know, the one that's for the Satan crew, right? That one, because of the negative connotations. It's like the shmoshmishma that the Nazis and Adolf, right? No one's bringing that anymore. The Hindus are like, but wait, for years that was a good thing. Nazis ruined it. Nazis ruined it, mate. They've empowered it with so much negativity now that it's like that. So that's my take on why certain religious things are so powerful in someone's hands like you, who aren't part of that faith.
Yeah, I'm totally on board with that. And I also think you can think about it like Carl Jung with the collective unconscious, because you're pouring that much energy and intention into these representations of that energy that you're creating this pocket of energy in itself. Like, as Jung would say, the collective unconscious, it becomes something that's accessible to us all. And the more it's used, the more powerful it becomes. So that's how I've kind of looked at it. But it's intrigued me as to how and why it works. But it's certainly so powerful. So thank you all for your answers. They all absolutely resonate.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming.
We love your artwork. We love your artwork. We love it.
It's funny you say that, because
have you got it? Has it arrived?
Arrived this morning.
Yay!
Listen, come on, you've got to show us. Let us see.
I don't buy artwork.
Beautiful.
Okay. The last artwork I bought was a Marvel print, and also this represents my true understanding of how religion has nothing to do with any of this, and it's all about deities. And so, for example, well, if there was no Christianity, there'd be no demons, because that's a Christian thing. No. It's deeper than that. So for Ron to buy a picture of an angel, right, is mad, because that's a Christian thing, right? But no, it's not.
Come on, show us, Ron. Don't keep us in suspense. Come on, show it.
It arrived safely then.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Freaking sick. Okay.
It's
mental energy.
I cannot wait to get a frame for this.
It's funny you chose that one, Ron, because that is an elemental. That's like a fairy spirit,
right? My freaking G's. And I don't buy art. I don't buy angel stuff. What are you talking about? But man, I was on your website seconds, and I was like, all right, we're about to make an adult decision here. And I did. And now I have this.
Thank you so much.
Now you have it. Well done.
Now I need to get a frame, by the way. Do you know? I just want to say there's a reason why the framing industry is dying. You ever been somewhere and said, how much is a frame for this? Nah.
Yeah.
Amazon.
Yeah. Go to IKEA or
China.
Like
that's where I'm going. China. All right. That's where I'm going. Rapid delivery.
Yeah.
But
Definitely have it a proper frame. Proper framing is so expensive, and that's why I sell a lot of stuff on like deep edge box canvas.
I'll be honest with you,
it doesn't need framed. You can just bang it on the wall.
If you think for a second that's going in a China cheap frame, you're crazy. Ron's going to make the frame by hand, probably out of that Japanese cherry wood that's behind him there, because that's what I'm going to do. You can all watch me ruin that, and then that's what I'm going to do.
Ron, you could do. You could frame work. I could send people from my website to you to do the frame.
No. If you want a frame from Ron, all right, make your own damn frame. Ron's too busy trying to deal with evil. Okay, too busy. But thank you, I appreciate that. But
busy fighting demons to get on the framing tip. Yeah, I get that.
Right.
So difficult. I've tried to make frames though, and like with a little miter block and that, and it just never works.
Oh yeah. It'll look good hanging up. Is it sellable quality? Probably not, but I'm going to do it. But listen, thank you so much for coming and joining us, Sky Spray.
Thank you so much, Sky.
Oh, I've cut her off before she said goodbye. I'm going to
Oh,
drag
just
Uber
everyone.
in because it's not a call in without Uber. Uber, how are you doing today, my brother? You're live on the show. Now, which channel have you got a question for me?
Uber.
Oh, it's Uber's back. Uber's the non-believer. So Uber, anything else you want to ask the ladies? Anything else they can help you? Also, as well, you know Beverly's. I just want to say, Uber, see tonight when you see Beverly Rhodes at the end of your bed giving you a stern look, it wasn't a dream. Okay, it wasn't a dream. Okay, but Uber, anything else you want to say, mate? Before I throw you back in the waiting room.
Yeah, Bev, earlier on, wow, you got everything absolutely bang on when you were talking about the issues.
You don't have to tell her that. She already knows, mate. She already knows.
Bang on. That I am really impressed.
No,
really
thank you, Uber.
Oh, we're so surprised,
Wow,
Uber.
yeah,
We're so surprised.
I
She does it to everyone, mate. She came on a podcast.
How she did it so matter of fact, like, it was no
This
big
is
thing. It was just like, yeah.
Yeah, I invited her on a podcast one time.
It really has blown me away, Bev. Nice one. I'm really impressed. So well done. Really
I'm pleased. I'm pleased that helped you. Just for you, specifically for you, to understand that energies do exist, and us, the individuals that know how to bend energy and move energy and send it out to you and make you feel better. That's most important for you right now, is to get you to feel a bit better.
Yeah.
And that is what I will be doing for you. And I did, because I knew you came to give feedback, and that's why I gave you the gong, and I'm going to give you another gong because you gave feedback.
Well, you deserve feedback. It's you that did it. You know what I mean? It's just, I'm very impressed. Really
it's so funny, man, because
you certainly got my attention.
I invited Beverly on a podcast last year, and it was we were trying to do a comedy-based podcast. So I'm like, all right, Bev, this guy wants you to, prove it to him. I want you to go in and just got to be like, oh, you like this music when you were 12, or play the fun game. Beverly, oh yeah, I know it would be good. I know it would be good. She was there 3 minutes. He's in tears. Okay, 3 minutes and he's in tears because Bev tuned in to the one thing he needed actual help with. Talked about the worst moment of his life and how it affected him. He completely broke down, and then she rebuilt him. And I'm sitting there, right, after giving the whole audience a week of, listen, it's going to be lighthearted fun. We're going to close the week on this. 3 minutes, guy's in tears, one of the most profound moments of his life. You know what I'm saying?
I did apologize. I apologized to him, and I said, I'm really sorry. But he did say to me, I said, do you want me to stick to particular topics? And he said, no, I don't mind. He says, you go and say whatever you want to say, have a look at whatever you want to look at, whatever energies, doesn't matter.
Yeah, but the thing is,
that's kind of what happened.
For me, when you see someone like that, I think it's like the equivalent of watching someone burning on the floor and you having to stop and put out the fire. That's how I interpret when you do something like that, because you really did help Samson. It blew his mind. And Uber, I'm glad you came to give feedback, and I'm glad that you got the fun version of Beverly proving all this to you and not the night terrors. So congratulations.
Well, I did learn, Ron. I did learn not to go and dig around. I could have had a good dig around in Uber because there's loads there, which we won't go into right now. But I could have, but I didn't.
Well, that's it. And we're learning where to draw the line together, Beverly. Together, we're learning. I like it. Thanks for being here, Uber, mate. As I say, it's not a live stream unless we drag you in. So nice to speak to you, bro. And I'll catch you soon.
Cheers, Bev. Love Bev. Love girls. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Uber. Have a nice evening. Have a good sleep.
It's freaking fabulous as always, Beverly. Honestly.
I wanted to say thank you to my fantastic guests, and thank you so much for staying right to the end. The lovely Selma, our light mother, integrating light language. And if people want to book a session with the lovely Selma, you can do a light language session, or you can get activated in light language. And of course, for our wonderful demon hunter, our exorcist par excellence in America, thank you so much, Kate, for all the hard work that you do, removing all these awful things, all these creatures from our presence, so that everybody can live their very best life. And of course, to the wonderful Ron, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for helping with all the things that we need that I cannot do without you. So and everyone, mods, and everyone that's been fantastic, sending us over 500 questions in the chat. It was a wonderful show. thank you for attending Awaken with Beverli Rhodes, and we will see you all again next week. Have a great weekend. And
100%.
bye to everyone.
Kate, don't push any buttons, Kate. Just stay there. Don't push any buttons, Kate.
All right.
Okay. And thank you all. Any haters watching, suck your mum.
Bye, Selma.
And like and share. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Beverli.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Are you stopping it or am I stopping it, Bev?